I want to explain something very quickly because it's maybe the most important and most misunderstood issues when it comes to Israel and Palestine and Judaism and Islam. Judaism is a religion. It is not an ethnicity. It is not a race. There is no such thing as Jewish blood. There is no such thing as Jewish DNA. Judaism has a lot of ethnicities within it. You have Jews that came from Eastern Europe. You have Jews that came from what is now Spain. You had Jews that came from Yemen. You had Jews that came from Iraq. You had Jews that came from Morocco. You had Indian Jews. They had different histories, different lineages, different languages, different geographic locations. Okay, the thing that unites them is the religion of Judaism, which is belief in God and belief in the Torah. That is the common factor between different groups of Jews. Which begs the question, how can you be an atheist Jew? In my view, it's a contradiction. It's like an atheist Muslim. The central tenet of Judaism is belief in God. If you don't believe in God, then who do you think Moses was? Who do you think Jacob was? If there's no God, then how can they be prophets of God? What was the Torah if you don't think it came from God? But why do we often think of it as an ethnicity? Why do people think of there being a Jewish race? That is an invention that came around in the 19th century, and it was to strip God from Judaism and create a type of social cult that would aspire towards nationalism and aspire towards a state in Palestine called Israel through a process of Zionism. Okay, this was an invention. Before that, there was no idea of there being a Jewish ethnicity. It was a concoction. Why is this so important? How does this go to the heart of the issue? It's because Israel is the only state in the world which allows residency based on your belonging to a religion, right? Judaism. If you are Jewish, no matter what background, no matter what country, no matter what history, no matter what affiliations you have, you're entitled to live in Israel. No other country in the world has that. And can you think of how insane it really is as an idea? Imagine you had Brazil, that is a sort of a Catholic country. Imagine if they allowed you to live in Brazil just because you were Catholic. Okay, I could say I'm Catholic, I could go to church and say, yes, here's my certificate, I'm Catholic, I am now allowed to live in Brazil. Right? That wouldn't make any sense. No country does that. Now, Israel does that. And they say being Jewish makes you eligible to live in Israel. But how do they regulate that? How do they prevent people who actually believe in God and actually believe in the Torah and say that they're Jewish from actually being allowed to live in Israel? Well, it then becomes a social question. It's like, are you in or are you out? Are you the right type of Jew for us so that you can live in Israel? Because imagine if they didn't have that social filtering. Palestinians could say, I'm Jewish, and then do they become Israeli suddenly? Could they get their land back? No, they can't. Right? So the idea is to strip God from Judaism and convert it into a social cult in order to instill a system of apartheid against the Palestinian people. You have to be in this club of Judaism. Valuable for them to kind of invent an idea of a Jewish ethnicity, and they actually steal some of the Palestinian cultural symbols and heritage and try to claim it as their own, right? You talk about Israeli hummus, right? They stole hummus and try to make it a Jewish thing. And you have this idea of there being a Jewish people, a Jewish history. No, you don't. Jews actually are very, very diverse and very, very complicated. The only thing that unites them actually is belief in God and belief in the Torah. But then if you don't believe that, if you don't believe in God and you don't believe in the Torah, then you're not Jewish. You are masquerading as a Jew. You are masquerading as a Jew so you can get perhaps Israeli citizenship. But you're not actually Jewish. You've actually hijacked Judaism. You've corrupted Judaism. You've taken away God from Judaism. You've taken away what's sacred from Judaism. You've turned it into some shitty little social club, okay, which is actually anti-Semitic, which is actually the problem with Israel and problem with Zionism, is they have hijacked Judaism and converted it into a death cult, right? That is anti-Semitic. They are the continuation of what the Nazis did to Jews. The Nazis exterminated Jews and Zionists hijacked Judaism.